Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing the games that I want to be remastered and why. So first up, we have Bratz Angels, the PS2/GameCube version. Probably no surprise to anyone. So I know this is a lot of words, but don't worry, I'm going to read them. So these are some things that I want to see in Bratz Angels, the PS2/GameCube version, because if you didn't know, there is a Game Boy Advance version, very different from this. Anyways, so updated graphics. If you recall from my Let's Play of it, the graphics, although in 2005, very subpar. Very, very, very subpar. But I really like the Talking Bratz show animation style, and I feel like it would be really cool if they remastered this game and updated it with the same graphics that are in the Talking Bratz show. Another thing that I really could not stress enough are the original voice actors. So another reason why I really don't want to play the fourth game is because they don't have the same voice actors, which they're the same as the Girls Really Rock movie, the Fashion Pixies movie, and the second season of the series. They're not the real people. So also, if you look on these, some of these, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know so-and-so voiced them. Like Kaylee Cuoco, she's Kirsty. I'd bet you didn't know that. But still, the original voice actors, I feel like they were made for that role, especially when we have 3 games, an entire first season, and several movies with their voices. It's really detaching to have different voice actors for a different game, which I know that the original Spyro voice actor isn't in the Spyro Reignited. It's actually Tom Kenny, but still. Another thing that I want to see are the same clothing lines. So this obviously is like a no-brainer. Like, if you're remastering the game, you got to keep it as faithful. Well, kind of yes and no. So, in the Spyro Trilogy, in the second and third games, your save fairy, Zoe, in the PS1 graphics, she looks a little more bland, and the PS4, PS5, whatever port you play on, she's more refined and fleshed out and has more detail. I want to see the same clothing lines because the clothing in the Bratz games are super detailed. I want to see those same clothings with just as much detail because they're not just flat. Because obviously, like, they're fashion dolls. Their doll clothes weren't flat. So I want to see those same clothing lines. I don't want them to change. Less glitches and more invisible walls. So there are some places where it's like a hill, but because of how making video games in 2005 was, you kind of like phase through the floor at some parts. And I also don't want to see their hair fall off. So, different map systems. So the locate feature on the phone that has drop-down folders of different areas, click on it and an arrow points you there. So it's kind of like combining the map board from the first game and the locate feature from the next 2 games. So what was great about the map board in the first game was it showed you the entirety of Stylesville and had different sections. So like the mall was a section, the Fashion Promenade was a section, Dance Heaven Plaza was a section, and it showed you everything in those sections. The locate feature, on the other hand, if you were in the Fashion Promenade, it would only show you places in the Fashion Promenade. So I feel like they should have, if they ever re-updated this or remade it, would be to have the locate feature, but it has like drop-down folders. So like you had your locate feature. It had the mall, Fashion Promenade, Dance Heaven Plaza. You would like click on one of those and it would drop down everything that was in the mall. And then it would give you an arrow and point you there, whether or not you were in that area. Another thing is music on your phone the entire time. So I love that they had music in the stores. I feel like that was cool because not a lot of games really did that. But then again, no one can have as great of background music probably as like Spyro can. So, which that's my opinion. Don't worry, I'm not saying that other games aren't great. But I didn't like how it was the same song over and over and over again. I really liked how in the next 2 games the music was on your phone and it was different songs and you could play it the entirety and not just in the stores. However, there's a stipulation to this. Lauren Evans, I want her to re-record the songs. Or just re-record the songs, like, at all. I don't really know what that means. I don't know what I was thinking when I made that. Anyway, I want Lauren Evans to re-record the songs. So Lauren Evans sings quite a few of the Bratz songs. If you notice, they're all about the same voice, even though in like the Pick Your Adventure DVDs or whatever, the girls have their own songs, quote unquote. So like Jade sings When We're All Together and Sasha sings Me and My Girls or whatever. But if you listen to like the soundtrack versions or like the versions from the movies, TV show, it's just one lady. And from what I've read online, her name's Lauren Evans. And I love the way that her voice sounds with these. And if you can have Toys for Bob like remake the Spyro Reignited like trilogy soundtrack, why not just revamp the songs and have Lauren Evans re-record them? I don't know why, but I don't want the phone to change. There's just something about it that it doesn't look like a flip phone. It doesn't even look like a smartphone. It looks like a menu of stuff in the phone. Even like I know it's a phone. I just don't want it to change. I think just don't fix what's not broken. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing wrong with the phone in any of the 3 games. I also want the messages to stay in your inbox or the option to save certain messages because sometimes it's like Byron goes, "Hey, great work with the posters. Let's go buy the Passion for Fashion line because it's a sponsor for the show or whatever," which is like an example from the second game, but still. I know that your planner tells you, but not everybody would know to look at the planner if like to be like, "Hey, what did Byron just tell me?" Especially little kids. I also want the planner icon to blink when you have a task. So like sometimes it does if you haven't done it for a while. I know that when I was little, I would only play up to the first magazine and not ever go to Florida. So my little icon would blink like every so many minutes. But like I want it to blink the whole time, I guess. I don't really know. I don't remember what was going through my head whenever I made this. All messages being voiced. So in the 3rd game, all the messages are voiced, and it's so funny. And I like it because, you know, as somebody who has Let's Played the first one, I like reading them, but I feel like the option to have the people, like the characters, read them out is a lot more fun. Also, the right characters and the right voices. So there's this scene it's like a cutscene, not from the movie, but like from the game, and they're in the hotel in London, and it's Chloe's like body, but it's Sasha's voice, and I'm like, no, hold on, because like the whole thing is supposed to be a conversation between Chloe and Sasha, and it's interesting, and I'm just like, well, wait a second, no. Okay, so here are some new things that I want to see in Bratz Archangels, like the PS2 GameCube version. So once you buy the hairstyles, they're available everywhere. I don't know what order these are coming out in, but I said this in my ranking Bratz video games. So, also a Nintendo Switch version. So one of the coolest things about the Spyro Reignited Trilogy is that the original was just a PlayStation. Just a PlayStation ported thing. The Reignited Trilogy went to PC, went to Xbox, went to Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, all these cool platforms that you have to be able to play on it. And I really feel like it should happen with like this game series, because like even though it was on like the PS2 and the GameCube version originally, I feel like you should continue that streak and also add it to the Nintendo Switch, because like Bratz the movie was ported to Wii because the Wii had just come out. So I feel like if you remaster this game, don't just keep it to like the PlayStation, because that's what the original was. I feel like you should port it to every console. Another thing is new/unreleased artwork. So I don't know if you follow Bratz on Instagram, But for their 20th and 21st-ish anniversary, they released unseen artwork. So we've got to see concept art and artwork for dolls that never made it to the light of day, that were probably for like a second round of a certain line. So like Princess Vienna, Princess Phoebe, like this is for like the princess line, and there was supposed to be like a second helping of the princess dolls. And we finally got to see the unreleased artwork for that. So it's really cool. Also, the original artwork being larger. So like keep the old artwork, add new unreleased artwork in, and make it bigger. Because like if you're gonna add it in the game, I want to be able to see it and appreciate it in all of its glory. In addition to new artwork, I want to see more concept art. So I want to, in the Bratz Archangels, you can see the concept art for like the environment, and that is so cool to me. I want to be able to see those again if this game was remastered, and I want to see the concept art for the remastered game, because like there's some textures that probably aren't going to be as detailed, and I want to be able to see like a new remastered vision of it. Once the game is complete, I also want to see a free world option where you can do shows freely and in whatever outfits you want. So in the final show of the game, you can wear whatever outfits you want. But after the game is over, the game is just over. And then if you press load game, you go back to your last save point. But after the game is complete and you like get all the pages from Berdine and finish the last magazine, I want to be able to explore the world freely. Which means I want to be able to go to Paris and London and the mansion and be able to have whatever shows I want wearing whatever I want. Another thing that I want, even though it's not true to the first game, is I want to not have to match the top and bottom in the clothing line. Sometimes I want to wear the treasure's top and one of Chloe's everyday bottoms. Is that too much to ask? Also, the addition of the first edition outfits for the girls would be so cool. Because there are some lines, like the Wildlife Safari, the first edition ever for the girls, Funk and Glow. Sorry, I'm trying to articulate that because I don't want it to sound bad. And then like Formal Funk, which is like their prom line. I want to be able to see like all those cool outfits, which goes to the added outfits for the doll lines. So I want to be able to like see all of the cool outfits in the game and not just, oh, this is the Funk and Glow Chloe doll and it has like this cool stuff, but you can't have it in the game. Also, Dylan is supposed to be dark complected, and I think that they did him so wrong in the video games, because if you watch Bratz the Video starring and styling, he is much darker, and I feel like we need to keep him true to character, because like even in the original, not the original, even in the TV series, he's still quite as dark as Yasmin is, and I feel like we should serve him justice and make him a little bit darker complected. So now we're going to talk about Bratz Forever Diamonds. Is this surprising? No, it's not. And specifically the PS2/GameCube version, because this one also has a GBA version, but it also has a Nintendo DS version, and the Nintendo DS version is awful. So we're not talking about them. Updated graphics. Again, same animation style as the Talking Bratz show. So I feel like it would be really, really cool to have like that updated animation style, because it looks really refined. It's still CGI, but it looks like them, just more polished. The original voice actors. I love the voice actors. I said that last time. I will say it for every single game. Just please bring them back. Because when I think of those characters, those are the voices that I hear. So, in the third game, there's this bending down animation when you like feed the pets. In the second game, there's not. So I feel like in a remastered version, you should have the bending down animation when feeding the pets, because you're not just going to stand there and then your pet like meow or bark and then like gobble up some fake food. I feel like the addition of having like the girl bend down to give the pet a treat, I feel like that would add some realism, even if it's not technically true to the original game. Just adding small details like that would make it better. Again, the same clothing lines, because the Sweet Dreams fashions are so cute on their own. Just some of them are a little like flat in like their polygon graphics. I feel like to make them a little bit more detailed. So not change them completely because they're already detailed, like a lot. Like the ruffles, those are detailed. Just make them better. Like the fur jacket in Tricked Out, you can tell that it's supposed to be fur, but it's like in The Sims where they just like paint on some stuff where it's like, oh, that's supposed to be like a scarf or whatever, but it's just like painted on and it's not like 3D. I feel like you keep the same thing but add the texture to it. Less glitches, more invisible walls, same as what I was saying. So if you go to picture this or like the Fashion Promenade, you like float down the stairs. As much as I love that, and I love the original games for doing that, like that is the one glitch that I'm just like, I love this glitch. It makes me laugh every single time. It brings me joy. I feel like in a remastered game, that's something that needs to be polished. So again, with the first game, the different map system for the locate feature and the drop-down folders, I feel like it would be a really great thing to also have in this game, especially when you have large areas like Stylesville in New York. So the music on your phone the entire time is something that is true to the PS2 game and the GameCube version, obviously, because they're like the same. But I still want to hear Lauren Evans like re-record them. I think that would be so cool. And just like remaster them and make them cool. And so then we have like the original versions and the remastered versions, and then not to like compare them, just to be like, wow, look how awesome the new stuff is and look how awesome the old stuff is, and it can coexist. You know what I mean? The phone still doesn't change. Don't fix what ain't broken. The messages, again, stay in your inbox or the option to save certain messages, because sometimes I'm like, wow. Because obviously, I really love Yasmin and Eaton being together. So when I'm Yasmin and this is when I was a kid. So I used to be Yasmin and I used to text Eaton and be like, hey, how are you? And sometimes he'd be like really, really sweet and have like a little X after his message. I'd be like, oh, he likes her, so cute. I want to be able to like save that stuff because that's adorable. Like, why not? Come on. Or practically, having like a so-and-so is like, hey, will you do this, this, and this? And in the planner, it says it somewhat differently. So I want to be able to save those messages so then you like know your tasks. And the planner icon blinking when you have a task, same as whatever I said last time. The messages being voiced, I just feel like that's fun. Even if it's not true to the first two games, I just feel like it's fun to have like Phoebe or Sienna text you and be like, hey, thanks for getting all my stuff back for me, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Right characters, right voices. Again, it happens in this game too. I can't think of the instance off the top of my head, but I'm sure it'll come to me like later tonight, and I'm just like, oh, that's what it is. I should have recorded it. Anyways, but still, right characters, right voices. This is the same thing that I will say for the next game, same thing that I said for the rankings. Once I buy the hairstyle, I want them to be available everywhere. In cool cuts, in city looks, whatever. And I said this in my ranking video, but there is like the braided pigtails. You can only buy them at cool cuts. I want to be able to go to city looks or go to Karma and Florida and be like, this is the hairstyle that I want. Why not? Okay, again, about the port to Nintendo Switch and like the Xbox and stuff or whatever, because I just think it's really cool. So then more people can play like this gem. New/unreleased artwork. There are some lines in here that, like, the costume party line has unreleased artwork. So the devil that looks like it's supposed to be Jade, her name's actually Ashley, I'm pretty sure. And it's unreleased artwork that we just got from the Bratz. So like the first time before this that you saw it was making the posters for the first fashion show in Bratz Forever Diamonds. I just want to be able to like see it again. Cause like there's some of these lines like Tricked Out, it doesn't have any of the artwork, and there's some Passion for Fashion artwork that's not in there. I want to be able to see all the fun artwork that's on the walls in the stores in the art gallery. Also, the original artwork being larger. I want to see her. Let me see her. Make her bigger. So more original concept art from the original game, from the remastered game. that was one thing that I loved about the first game was you got to see the concept art from like London and Paris and the fashion venues and stuff. I want to see the concept art for New York. I want to see the concept art for Florida. Like, what was different between Florida in the concept art and Florida in the game? Like, that's so cool to me. I want to be able to see that. So, again, once the game is completed, I want a free world option. I want to be able to wear the diamond stuff back in Stylesville, travel between Florida, New York, and Stylesville freely. I want to be able to do a fashion show at the A-list venue in Florida, and I want to be able to do it in whatever I want to wear. So if I want to wear costume party, then I want to be able to do that. I also want cheats to unlock the previous game's outfits and hairstyles. So something that's cool in Bratz the movie is you have several cheats to be able to unlock quote-unquote vintage Bratz. So like Sweet Dreams, High School Refresh, Hollywood, On Ice. I want to be able to do that in this game for the Rock Angels. So I want to be able to wear like the Treasures range, because that's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, no, I want to be able to wear Pretty and Punk in New York. Or I want to be able to have like the boho and highlights and wear it with my tricked out stuff. That is so cool to me. I want to be able to do that. Dylan also in this game. We need to do him justice. Make his skin as dark as it's supposed to be. Cause like he's a pasty boy in this game. He's not supposed to be. Again, added outfits for the doll lines. So there are some, like the princess line is in this game, but there are some outfits that are like in the movies, TV show, and also for the dolls that's not in this game, and I really want to see them. So one thing that I hate about the fashion shows is I cannot change anyone's hair but the OG Bratz. I want to change Mandy and Sheridan's hairstyles. I don't like them. Sheridan's hairstyle is so boring and plain. She just has like the Chloe hair. I want to be able to put her in something that makes her look better. I want to be able to change Mandy's red mop on her head. This is not a slander towards redheads, okay? But like it just sits there and it's just there. And she has like these bangs that cover like half of her face on both sides, so you can only see like the middle part of her face. I want to be able to change her hair to make her look decent. One thing that I love about Bratz Archangels that I miss in the other two games is them not calling me by my name. I want to feel special. Don't berate me, but say, hey, Chloe. You know what I mean? So, let's talk about Bratz the movie. Updated graphics, same style as Talking Bratz. The OG voice actors. Obviously, there's some different characters in some of the games, but I want to be able to have the same voice actors. Same clothing lines. Just make them a little more detailed, give them like the depth and dimension. Less glitches, more invisible walls. I don't want to float down the stairs, even though it brings me great joy. Save that for the PS2, but for the updated one, more invisible walls. Different map system, so like an updated locate feature, because nobody's gonna know that Meow and Ruff moved to the Fashion Promenade. They're gonna be in the mall and be like, I thought it was here somewhere. You know what I mean? Music on your phone the entire time. Keep that. That was a golden choice. Re-record the songs. I feel like it would just be the icing on the cake. Phone doesn't change. Don't fix what ain't broke. Messages stay in your inbox. Option all the planner icons. Messages are voiced. That was something that is in this game that I want to keep. Right characters, right voices. I cannot think of an instance where this happens. I don't think it does in this game, but still, just keep that. Right characters, right voices. Because that happens in like the movies and the TV show too, and I'm like, huh? Okay. So once you buy the hairstyles, they're available everywhere. That is something that all across the board is something that I will complain about and I have complained about. Nintendo Switch version. You know, I really say this because I have a Nintendo Switch Lite. I am saving up to buy Spyro on there because it's expensive and I'm a broke girl. I want to be able to play the Bratz games when I go out of town or out of state and it's like a long car ride. I want to be able to play the Bratz because I love it and I'm a child at heart. So new and unreleased artwork. I want to be able to see all this cool stuff because your artists for the Bratz worked hard on stuff, and I want to be able to see it. Don't just leave it unreleased. Let me see the artwork. Let me see the original artwork being larger. I want to see concept art. All of that stuff, it's so cool to see. And once the game is complete, I want to be able to do shows freely and whatever outfits I want. Because after this game, in the PS2 version, you can actually just go anywhere. It's like a free world option, but you can't do shows. And I want to do them freely, wearing whatever I want. I don't want to have to wear the custom outfits because that sucks. And I want the cheats to unlock the previous game's outfits and hairstyles. Because I miss the original girls' hairstyles and I want them back. Because in the third game, you have the new hairstyles, but you don't have, like, the Yasmin hair with the bangs in the fridge and the ponytail. You don't have the Jade hair with, like, the double whatever with the bangs. You don't have the Sasha double ponytail. You don't have the plain Chloe hair. And I miss that. I like the side swoop ponytail, half up, half down, semi-bouffant, whatever. I like those, but I miss the OG hairstyles. Dylan, again, needs to be darker complected. Don't whitewash him. Like, he's pasty. He's not supposed to be. Not even his dolls are that light. Added outfits for the doll lines, again. Call me by my name. Call me by my name. One thing that I love about Bratz Angels that I miss in the other two games. Don't berate me. Just say, hey, Yasmin. Sup, Sasha? Know what I mean? Why can't I get into the park in New York? Why is the door there? Why can't I get into it? If you're going to bring me back to New York, I don't care if there's not any snow on the ground like there is in the second game, but why can I not get into the park? What was wrong with it? Why'd you block it off? So, this would be like the character art. So, this is from Talking Bratz. I feel like this art style is good. Like, look at the hair. Look at Dylan. Look how dark he is. He looks so good. All of this stuff. I know that they kind of look like dolls in their joints, but, like, look at them. They look great. And it still is, like, they look like them, and it still could pass as, like, video game styles. And they look true to character. So, Bratz ReStyled Trilogy, a new game resembling the PS2 and GameCube versions inspired by the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This is what all of this has been leading up to in this presentation. So, the Bratz ReStyled Trilogy is inspired by Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It combines all three games into one single game with 3 games inside. So, like, you choose from the main menu which one you want to play. So, like, you would have Bratz Angels, could, like, move the D-pad over or whatever. And you can have Bratz Forever Diamonds, you can move it over again, have Bratz the movie. When you finish all games, you have an option to play a free play game that truly combines all 3 games, all variations of the map, all collectibles, all artwork, all hairstyles, all outfit lines, all characters, and #new tasks. These tasks can be recycled assets. So an example of this would be Roxy asks you to go bargain bin hunting in the first game. Can recycle this task and have it be asked by a different character. Each time you load in, characters swap around places randomly. So in Bratz Forever Diamonds, in the first magazine, Karen and Dylan are by the bridge fountain thing in the mall. In the second magazine, Cameron goes inside the Fashion Promenade, and Dylan goes to the Dance Heaven Plaza. I feel like instead of having them be like, oh, I know where so-and-so is, they're in this place, and they're going to be there every time I load in. Have them, once you exit the game and then re-go into it, they're in, like, random places. Please call me by my name. That's one thing I love about Bratz Angels that I miss in the other 2 games.
Okay, so what you have right here is actually just like a video of it going from the office to the hallway to the lobby, and then it's gonna go out to, like, as if they were exiting to the mall, but it's actually gonna be the office plaza, and then still going to the mall. So still going with the theme of this is how you could combine it to make it like one cohesive map, even though I know that's a lot of like doors, I guess, and like tiny black screens. So